Actually, there was a couple of men that I almost dated that I said, like, in the first couple of dates, like, we can either, like, date and, like, be together, or, like, I can make you a lot of money, but you got to pick.
Damn.
Hey, everyone. I'm Morgan DeBaun, a passionate entrepreneur and life advisor. With the Journey podcast, you'll discover that success isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. I'm sharing stories of amazing people who've taken control of their lives. Join me on my own journey to discover the secret sauce behind reaching success with permission from no one else. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Morgan DeBaun podcast. I'm here with my good friend, Deepica. We're going to talk all things lady bossing.
All right. Let's do it. I'm only slightly nervous.
You don't have to be nervous. We talk all the time.
I know, but it's different when there's cameras.
There's no cameras.
It'll be good.
We were just talking about teams, and I was just sharing we hired a CRO. Like, I've been hiring C-level executives for the first time.
Mm-hmm. First time.
Not first time. First, in the last 12 months, I've hired 3 C-level executives at the company. And it is night and day.
Did you have to mentally get to a certain revenue before you felt comfortable doing that?
I realized I was leaving more money on the table by not having them.
Yeah.
So it was more of having the opportunity to say, like, oh, if we had a CRO, like, they could have gotten that done. Mm-hmm. Or they could have taken this deal with this random CPG company from $2 million to $5 million.
Yeah, and it's a balance, though, because on my end, it's like we're still in the phase where we need a senior executive to feel comfortable making the biggest decisions, but also being in the weeds and being okay doing the smaller things.
That's the hard part, is you need humble C-level executives, not C-level executives that expect 17 people to report to them.
Yeah.
So
we can't have like the Fortune 500 mentality at a startup.
So I hired people who were at companies, and they were at those companies for more than 4 years. Mm-hmm. They were all startup companies that then exited. So they were all, and that was critical because, one, they've already had an exit, so they, like, know the chaos. But, like, they know the vibes. And then, 2, they can handle ambiguity.
That's huge.
Which, like, you know, our lives are crazy.
And you know what's interesting with my experience so far? There's people who say, I know startup, but this is startup.
Yeah, no, we're in it.
You know? Like, there's a difference. Like, I think, like, Facebook still calls themselves a startup.
Bullshit.
Like, yeah. I think of some, because I have a beauty brand, like, I think about beauty brands who call themselves startups, and I'm like, girl, you got a full stack C-suite in place, and I know your revenue. Come on. There's a difference between that and, like, there's a growth stage and there's just, like, a building stage, right? And I think you're in the growth stage.
Yeah, we're definitely growth if you look at, like, an investment banker point of view. We are deep in growth stage, which is, like, fascinating. It's a whole different world.
You should be so proud. Are you proud?
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm very content. Good. So I feel like nothing can, you reach that point where you're like, okay, it's not going away. Right?
Yeah.
Like, nothing can take us down.
Yeah.
Like, we will still make it.
I did wake up feeling that way after closing my Series A funding. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just this moment of, you know, it's a matter of how big we'll get.
Yes, that's right.
But I don't have the fear of failing.
Yeah, knock on wood.
You never know. It's a certain climate out there. But no, I don't feel that way. It's, you know, I've talked to you about this one more as it relates to men, but even with myself, like, stability. Mm-hmm. And even as somebody who has a startup, I feel like I have a stable job. I do. And
right.
I don't know why I do. I mean, I finally pay myself a salary. I didn't in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I was getting influencer checks.
Right.
But we've talked about that too. And you told me that I shouldn't do that.
I mean, I went through the same journey where I didn't pay myself for years and spent all the cash back in the business. Yeah. And then when I first started paying myself, I was like, oh, yeah, like, this is really, really important.
Yeah.
Because it was removing resentment that I had towards my other employees. It's like,
interesting.
Such a weird guilt thing.
Well, you said this to me, and then it stuck in my head. You were like, girl, you're no longer 100% owner of your business.
Also that. I'm making other people rich.
You have investors who are literally giving you money to make them money. So as a part of that, you now should be compensated for working this job. Yeah. And, you know, I still am definitely not like, oh, I have employees that made more than me. Like, I still, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the other thing people don't realize is, like, when you're trying to recruit talent, I just want to comfortably be able to say, like, I am the CEO of this company. I deserve to get paid to be that.
Yeah, it is a really interesting thing when you transition to the board.
Yeah.
making your salary?
I have officially, literally after this Series A, I have a board meeting on Monday, and it is our first board meeting with my entire new board.
Yeah.
And I'm actually excited about it. Maybe I'll get to the point where because I also have board observers who we let join in, but official board 5 people, and then with observers it's 10.
Woo, that is a big room to manage.
And so I'll let you know how it goes after Monday.
How many was it pre-Series A?
3.
3, including board observers?
There was 5 in total with board observers.
Does your lawyer come to your meetings?
No, should they?
I don't know. Mine does.
Damn. Okay.
I like it because sometimes I'm like, yo, I need you to like back me up on this.
Okay. I think I'll get there. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it all goes down. But yeah, it's the first time this many dynamics and personalities will be in a room. And especially going from venture capital investors in my seed round to private equity in this round. Completely different. Yeah, completely different ball game. But I feel like it is forcing us to create some guardrails and responsibilities and reporting that we weren't doing before because we were just going and doing. Yeah. And I think it'll be good. I mean, again, I'll let you know in a couple board meetings how I feel.
Do you have a CFO? Remind me.
So my cousin who I started my business with is COO, CFO, but one of our first hires we're doing now that we did this funding is a VP of Finance.
Yeah, that's critical.
That I think, again, could grow into a CFO. And that again, is the tricky, exciting, but also really special people you have to find for a startup of our size is we want those people who are excited to grow into a super senior role in the business, who are excited about equity and the future long term. Yeah,
they don't just want to make $1 million a year because if that's what you want, you shouldn't come work for us.
You should not be coming to Live Tinted. That is a fact. But you may make a ton of money down the road by being here. Yeah, so a VP of Finance is what we're looking for.
How fun. Yeah. You are like continuing to evolve as CEO and going from founder, owner to CEO to now like really chairperson of the board. How have you made that transition mentally?
Well, yeah, so even before that, it was like influencer and you know, like that was an identity of me that I've really tried to let go of because I had this like heaviness of, I never wanted that. I always wanted to run my own business, but it's also my journey. Jessica Alba gave me that advice. I would say to her, I don't want to be an influencer. And she's like, that's like me saying I don't want to be an actress. That was my journey. Yeah. And like, you shouldn't shy away from what got you started, and helped her get the, you know, interest from people to have her start Honest was because of her platform and who she was. And so I no longer feel like ashamed that I started as an influencer because that is what it was.
I mean, you were the OG. Everybody, I feel like, has copied you.
Oh, well, I'll take it.
I feel like every day I see some random influencer like launch a skincare company.
Yeah, there's a lot, but you know, it's cool to see a lot of women of color do it. Like there needs to be more of us. That part's dope. And I think us doing what we're doing makes other people feel like they can do it too, which is also really dope. Yeah. But yeah, like going from influencer to the CEO and founder, that was hard as shit because it's 2 full-time jobs. And I would always ask you, I'm like, hey, what's your structure of your personal team? Like PAEA, chief of staff. I still have those questions because I'm still trying to figure it out. But at that time, it was like, I cannot do my personal social anymore and pump out content at that volume. Yeah. But if everyone is saying I have to keep doing that to grow my audience because it helps grow Live Tinted and those sales, then there should be a full-time hire from Live Tinted's funding that is supporting that.
And I think that's when actually I started saying, you need to pay yourself because you're driving the business, not just because you are the decision maker as the owner, CEO, because you're also the CMO. Like you're also driving
Well, and
sales.
I'm also an influencer for the brand, and you know, you would pay influencers
for the same thing.
But I obviously don't pay myself because I'm an equity owner in my company and I want to see long-term growth. It's a weird thing. So it's
Do you think men have to deal with this? Because I don't think that male founders deal with this at all.
They don't have to deal with so much. I was thinking about this as I was getting ready earlier. I was like, I just spent an hour and a half of my morning getting ready when guys would just come to a podcast and just show up. In a hoodie. And so then I had guilt about getting hair and makeup before doing things like this. But I'm multitasking and doing emails at the same time. It's not like I'm doing it just because I'm like, oh, I'm being lazy. It's like, it's quite the opposite. Yeah. I'm taking a call, doing emails, trying to do my social media, all while getting ready, because part of having a beauty brand, but also it's really not just a beauty brand. Being a female in the workplace is people look at the way we look.
Yeah, completely. I got my makeup done today too. And I was getting my makeup done, and we're on the West Coast. We're in LA today. Yeah. So, you know, it's 9 o'clock here. You know, it's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. So people are jamming. So I'm calling my CFO like, talking about some email, and I'm like, man, this is like confidential information, but I'm getting my makeup done, so I have to tell my makeup artist, yo, like,
every time
I'm gonna need you not to like say anything.
Every time I get my makeup done, I'm like, NDA, verbal NDA, verbal NDA.
You know what I mean?
think I've had some of them. Especially the ones I regularly am with. I'm like, you guys hear everything, and you just have to have that trust. But yeah, I don't think men think about 90% of the things we think about.
Yeah.
It's just this guilt, I feel, of all these spending habits that they would not think twice about if they knew they needed it to get their job done.
Yeah, I've struggled with even like styling. Like, do we charge Blavity for my stylist for like conferences or company events?
What's the answer, man? I don't think there is a blanket answer.
I think my approach has been to try to be honest and direct with the board. I'm like, things are a little, I have an all-male board. You know, things are a little different from me, and sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. And I've always just erred on the side of being really conservative, and then just making sure my metrics and my revenue is just like really good. So if
they can't say shit.
They can't say shit. And if things slow down, I always fall on the sword first.
Yeah.
Always. So like even during COVID, you know, we did salary reductions temporarily. I took the biggest salary hit.
Yeah.
Other male founders would never.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, I'll take the same hit as everybody else, but not the biggest hit.
And I also wonder, would male founders not take the highest salary in the company?
Never.
I question that.
Always take the highest salary. Yeah. I just decided that I was going to take the highest salary.
As you should. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know if you probably haven't publicly shared your revenue numbers, but as a friend who like knows roughly where you are, you absolutely should.
Thank you, but it's very hard.
Yeah. Mentally to get there.
Just this year. And it was still like...
You also need to think about all the money you're putting off the table by running this company. Like,
that was the argument. It was like, I could go be CMO of another company and make like $5 million a year.
And I think about all the influencer deals I've stopped taking just because it takes away time and efforts from running this business. And so I think that was the biggest part of the transition. It was like, I'm putting money aside to focus on this company because it's actually what, first of all, fills my cup up and I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I believe in the long term of this business. And I also know that is it is also my strength, honestly. Like, I think you and I can do the influencer thing, can be the face, but like, you enjoy operating the company.
Yeah, I love my life. I love being like, what does People Ops say today? What's happening in Slack, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on in Asana?
Yeah, same. I'm the same way. I enjoy that stuff. But my time was so consumed by content and influencer stuff. And I've just decided now, after the Series A closing, that to scale from, you know, the same way you get from zero to a certain revenue, then at that revenue to the next revenue goal, things have to change.
Yeah. What have you changed in your routines, habits, diets, and everything else from like a personal development perspective?
Everything, man. Like we were just talking.
You look great.
Thank you. I feel great. I do. And so last July, I turned 33. It was my birthday, and I was in Tahoe with my friends. Like it was just like hard to like wake up and breathe. And that's how exhausted my body and mind and soul was. And I kind of just made a mental decision that I was going to stop drinking for a while. And I wasn't going to put like a time limit like through end of year.
Yeah.
It was more just like, let's see if I can do a week, which was really hard, by the way, especially like New York culture. You go to lunches and you get a glass of wine.
Yeah.
LA is not about that life, so it's a little easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely was the girl who would get a glass of wine at lunch if I was like, and
wine and French fries and a salad.
That exactly. That was the balance. And I just basically made a decision that I was still in the middle of my fundraising process, which was the hardest thing I had gone through from a business perspective.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I have to change something if I'm going to keep preserving myself. And so from July to December, I didn't drink a cocktail here and there, but I'm talking like I didn't drink the way I used to drink, and cut out sugar a lot. And just, again, it was portion controlled, and it wasn't so strict. And I feel amazing. And so now it's been like, now we're in January and it's 6 months later. And now I'm like just trying to find a balance, because now I'm at a place where I feel good. When I'm in LA, I do boxing every single day with a trainer.
Yeah.
Again, another expense that I felt so guilty doing, and I changed my whole mindset on that. I was like, nope, like me feeling good means everybody feels good.
Right.
And unfortunately, that was the only way I decided to take care of myself. I justified it.
Yeah, you got to do whatever justifications you have to do. Like, that's just part of self-actualization, is partially just like convincing yourself that you're just going to do better.
And I think the other side of it is creating a quote unquote balance. So it started with my personal, as in me, myself, and I working on me.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a place where I want an actual personal life. I'm inspired by you and Josh, okay? Like, I be seeing y'all so in love and happy on the gram. And we had conversations when you were early days dating him, / even before you were dating him. But then it was the early days of dating him.
Yeah.
And I just watched it all happen. And I was like, because you used to have a Finsta. I don't know if you still do.
Well, I don't need it anymore because I just tell y'all whatever it is, what it is.
Which is so freeing.
Yeah,
I love that for you because I still have a close friends. And I post a lot on there, but it's so nice to have something else to look forward to besides your job.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, I was at this place where I was kind of like, I'm good, I'm good, business is good, and I dedicated all of my 20s to Blavity. I started when I was 24 years old, and I was super ambitious, very focused, like self-sacrificed, everything. And I was okay with it because I was basically at this mindset of I'm going to sacrifice my 20s, go hard, and then I'm going to leverage that momentum in my 30s and 40s to like live whatever life I want to live because I busted my butt in my 20s. But I also, especially living here in LA, was able to see so many women who were in their late 30s, early 40s, who just lingered a little too long in the boss category, where they got stuck and they wanted a family and they wanted a partner and they wanted the baby and they wanted all this stuff, but it was getting really too late.
Yeah, Janet Gerwich, who started Laura Mercier, said that the one thing she regrets is she wishes she put as much emphasis on her personal life as she did on her professional life, and she wonders how much she would thrive. And that general sentiment to me really stuck. And I think I'm not sure like what decade of her life she's in, but it made me think as somebody who's now in my early 30s that I don't want to have that same regret.
Right.
But I also don't have any regrets of what I've done to get to where I am, because I don't think we could have gotten here.
No.
I
would not be here. There's no way. Neither one of us would be.
Way.
I think it's just knowing when it's time to rebalance.
Yeah.
And
you're balanced.
I'm balanced now. I took myself out the rat race. I said, I am out. People thought I was crazy. Did you think I was crazy when I moved to Nashville?
No, I loved it for you, and I was watching and living and hoping to follow lead of. I mean, I moved to Texas.
You did move to Texas.
I did follow.
True. You came back, but you did move.
I did come back, but you found Josh, so y'all were there together.
Yeah, we might even move. It's possible.
Versus for me, mine was like, let me get away from the noise of this city, get recentered, focus on me. So what you just said is like, my business was good, and then I wanted to make sure I was good.
Right.
Texas for me for 2 years, being around my family, my niece and nephew, was about me getting good. And now I like genuinely love myself so much in a way that is healthy and great, and now I'm ready to meet someone.
I love that.
Feels good.
It feels so good.
But it's so nice to see other boss women find somebody and feel supported and have that companionship, because it is really hard. Even just having that initial conversation of what you do.
Yeah. And then we didn't talk about work.
You didn't.
Hell no. Absolutely not. He had no idea.
I mean, but I guess men don't Google the way, like...
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They have, the right men don't care. Let me say that. I'm sure some men are like, oh, let me date Morgan so I can get an article on Shadow and Act. And I'm like, that's not going to work out for you. Yeah. First of all, it's a no for me. Second of all, actually, there was a couple of men that I almost dated that I said, like, in the first couple of dates, like, we can either, like, date and, like, be together, or, like, I can make you a lot of money. But you got to pick.
Damn.
Some people pick the money.
Stop it. And did you actually help them?
Sure.
Damn.
Temporarily. Like, cool, like, let's talk about your startup, or, like, whatever.
I tend to always go there first. Every time I meet a man.
Hard no. Like, which pill do you want? Red pill, blue pill?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I naturally do that, too. I just find myself in the conversations being like, you should meet this person, you should meet that person. And then it's like, literally, what are you doing? You're here to, I just don't even know how to exert that part of myself, and I'm working on it.
Well, it's hard because all day we have to be the decision maker. Yes. All day we have to be the one who's not reactive, who's not soft, who's not like, that just doesn't feel right, guys. We can't say stuff like that as CEOs. No. You can't be like, oh, I don't like it. All day with Josh, I'm like, oh, that just doesn't feel nice. And I just don't like it. And, I turn into a complete, little girl. Yeah, you know? That's so nice. He calls me his princess. Oh, yeah. I love that. It's really sweet. And I am so grateful that I have a person who is capable of creating that space for me to just be Morgan. I do think that one of the things that was critical to that was actually not talking about work in the beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because we just got a chance to get to know each other genuinely. Nashville's also very unassuming, so you just kind of live. You don't have to, you don't think that much like a normal city, you know?
So nice.
Versus New York or LA or Miami where it's just everyone's very mixy.
Yeah, Nashville's a different vibe.
Completely different vibe. So I think that that's been helpful.
But that for me is what I'm discovering this time around in LA. It's I swore to myself this would not be the time of industry life. I did that the last time I was here as an influencer, and this time I'm coming back as Deepica, who's the founder and CEO of Live Tinted, who wants to have Deepica, who is a woman in her early 30s wanting to date and discover another side of herself.
How much time per week are you spending dating?
Well, what happened was
That's never a good start.
In early December, I got on the Raya and Hinge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you, because a lot of people be like, why are you on Raya? You can meet anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And the same on the Hinge. They're like,
oh my God.
I have friends who are like, why are you on Hinge? You don't want to be with someone regular. Why? And then other people who are like, why are you on Raya? Those guys are douchebags.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then the other people who are just like, just go out and meet people. And
blah,
like,
blah, blah, fuck blah, you guys.
Yeah. And then other people are like, get a matchmaker and outsource this the way you outsource.
I do like that.
I do too. And I think in time I will do that but they are not cheap. But I think in time maybe I will do that. But I went on 3 dates and they were back to back. And I met one guy. I do not have a boyfriend. I need to say this out loud. I do not have a boyfriend. Before any of my followers see this and then they're asking. I do not have a boyfriend. But I met one guy and I just really am enjoying his company. And I think I told myself I was going to continue dating because of the self-discovery that you get. I wanted to know if I would lean over and be a little touchy and flirt. And how do I have a conversation?
How do you feel? Do you feel? Yeah.
How do I not talk about work and just exercise that muscle, right? But I think what I'm learning is you actually learn so much more going deep with one person versus a bunch of first dates, which really just feel like a bunch of interviews.
I don't agree, but go on.
Really? Tell me more.
I mean, I was a crazy dater. I was like, I am going to date.
She's over here nodding her head.
She thought I was, this is my chief of staff. She thought I was nuts. She was like, this woman is nuts.
Was she helping you manage the scheduling of it? Because that's my thing is I genuinely mean it. I don't know how to keep up with the conversation, so I just don't do it well.
Maybe it's a special skill that I have of multitasking.
I think so.
But I was very honest with everyone just before the girls start coming for me in my comments. I was very honest with everyone, and I just was like, look, I am dating. I am open. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I'm looking to be a wife one day. And I want to be a mother one day. Wow. And so, I'm going to keep my options open. And I was just really honest with them when I was interacting with them. I wasn't sleeping with everybody or anything like that, but just straight up I'm looking to be a wife. So if you don't ever want a wife, we really don't even need to get started here. Because that was my criteria. I do feel like so many women aim for the girlfriend level. And a lot of men will tell you straight up, oh, that's my girlfriend, but I'm not going to marry her.
Damn, they know. I never thought about that.
They know they're not going to marry you. But they are like, but she's cool, I'm cool, we're cool. We're having fun. And that's my girlfriend. I'm with her.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to marry her. And they'll just wait until it becomes uncomfortable. And then they'll just move on. But those are important years for us.
Right.
Wow. So, yeah, I was very much...
I don't know.
Clear.
I mean, maybe I only did 3 dates, and 2 of them I just was like, I don't care if I ever see this person again. And I felt like,
okay, well, no.
And also, like, maybe I shouldn't have done dinners, because that's where it got to be like, this could have been a drink and I would have known right away.
Yeah.
Or a coffee. And I think that's what made me like, the connection I felt with one of the guys was like, wow, maybe I should go on a second date. And maybe it's a third date. And now we hang out all the time. But I am not ready to like put any titles to it, because I still feel like I'm figuring myself out through this process.
I say keep your options open. Like, I'm all for this guy. You're happy. You seem like you're having fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Have fun.
We should have more fun.
Yeah, we should have so much more fun. But also keep your options open. And like, don't take yourself out the game. Receive all of the male interest, because this is, well, it's like the most important decision that you're going to make, especially if you have kids, like the father of your kids. Like, you can't take that back.
And I guess I still, I don't know about your ex relationships and stuff, but I feel like still so scarred from guys who just didn't let me be great.
Yes. I definitely had men that shrunk me. Like, I had one guy.
All of mine have. All the above.
No, don't shrink.
Yeah,
don't
I know.
shrink for them.
Yeah.
But it's easy to shrink when you want to be in a situation and you want to have a partner.
I so badly wanted to make it work.
Yeah, you work hard to try to be flexible. Yeah. But the right man literally helps you expand. It's like a little butterfly. It's like, like, you know what I mean? That's what the right man will allow you to do, or create space for you to be who you already are. You're already a butterfly.
Yeah.
You know?
Just let me keep butterflying.
Just let me keep butterflying.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, we're not people who need somebody to make us or fix us or anything. It's like, I actually am thriving. And that's the other hard part, is like, I love my friends. I love my family. I love my job. I love my life.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a really special human being to insert in and both ways give to each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's possible.
I know. I'm excited. Feel like it is.
It's going to happen.
It's such an exciting time. I feel really happy about the move back to LA.
Yeah.
Where my business is. It's not easy. You know, we just raised this money and it's a really shitty climate right now to be like building a brand. And there's expenses that need to be cut. Even though you raise money, that's the thing people don't realize is like you raise the money to grow a business, not because it's like you've made it and like none of that money is going into my pocket. No. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like fully going into the business. And
you got a 10X it.
You got a 10X it. Oh, you just put a pit in my
stomach.
But
it's true.
Let's work on 5Xing it right now.
No, we don't get out of bed to 5X.
But the thing is that like if you also go to this extreme, some bad decisions can be made into the business to expedite the growth and get there. So
maybe not 10X in the next 2 years.
Right. 10X in life. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the reason that was so triggering for me is like when I started my company, it was the time of all the girl bosses.
Yes, and they were doing everything.
And they were raising money and
buying
round
billboards. It was crazy. That was a crazy time.
And the pressure that they got from their investors was to grow. Yeah. You must 10X. You must be $1 billion business. And so I'm lucky that my investors now are very, very aware of like a healthy growth for a brand of ours and want to see it grow and last in the long run and not go up quick and burn quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of businesses that were like the it girl brands. And like,
and it also made me think I had to raise all this money when like really, again, like we said, it's like there's plenty of businesses that can thrive and grow and scale and not raise a dime. Yeah. And good for them.
I agree. You know, I haven't raised since 2018.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but it's getting close. It's like, not like we need the money,
I have
but
to
more
remind
of like
myself different businesses. Like, it's, by the way, still incredibly impressive. And
different businesses, different requirements.
But damn, that's amazing.
But at some point, it's like if we're going to keep going for another 10 years, probably going to have to raise again.
Is that what you want to do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really happy where we are. I feel like we have enough cash flow to invest in the things that we want to invest in without having to raise. Yeah. You know, we're launching new brands. Yeah. We're starting new things. We're investing. So I feel good because those investments are paying off. The market is down, which makes me always be like, who can I buy?
Yeah.
Like, I view it more like that. Like, what is the opportunity because we're so strong and because everyone else is kind of floundering a little bit? And I don't have many competitors. When you think about, like, the black media space, there's, like, maybe 5 brands. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think of it that way. And I use you as an example a lot because there's a lot of companies right now rising to build, like, the Blavity for us.
Yeah.
And I always reference you as, like, look at the model that she's built. It's totally possible. But I do think, and I'm curious what you think, like you've got to be able to have a community around you that supports the cause.
Yes. Well,
that's been our issue, honestly.
On the enterprise side or the consumer side?
Enterprise side, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I think Black is trendy. Black is Black.
Yeah.
American culture. Black is culture. So it's the right demo to have a niche brand, because it's not actually niche. It's like niche in that's our target demo, but it's relevant, culturally relevant to everyone.
Yes.
So no matter what brand you are, CPG, auto,
you're paying attention to the Black
audience.
You have
to. And if you're not, you're just losing money. Like, it's not even an equity thing. It's like you're just literally wasting time. You could be growing faster if you had Black culture as a part of your marketing strategy.
Totally.
So I have a good argument.
And for us, the numbers
I don't know if that's there.
No, like it's like 5 million in the U.S.
Yeah, but global,
it's billions, right? And so that's the opportunity. Really, is the global opportunity. But it's tough for brands who are focused on the U.S. market to justify a major spend towards things like Diwali or Holi.
Tough.
Because of the sheer numbers of it all. And so, even when I went to pitch in the beginning, I would always focus on the brown girl aspect. But the second you start talking about the global,
that's it.
Boom.
That's
you
the
can't
winner.
really argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not made the global argument for Blavity. I got asked that actually a couple of days ago from a private equity person who was like, have you considered having Blavity go international and go to the continent? And I went to Ghana over the holidays. I'd been to Ghana when I was 16, so 10 years ago. Not really. I'm not 26, but we'll just go with that math. So I went to Ghana partially just to see, okay, how's the market? What's evolved? How's the country growing? And then also, how's the spend? Because it was a huge music festival that we went for, a set of music festivals. And there were very few corporate sponsors. There's very few corporations that clearly they didn't care about advertising to the African diaspora.
Interesting.
And that was my hypothesis, but it's always good to go double check. Mm-hmm. And to me, I'm like, yeah, we can have all the readers in the world. We can have all the people in the world show up to our events or read our articles, whatever. But if nobody wants to advertise to these consumers, the business isn't going to work.
Right.
And I feel like
different for us because it's a product and a consumer good. But yes, the argument is that within the 1.8 billion people that are in India, majority of it isn't in the middle class, but the middle class is growing at a rapid rate. And by the way, even a small portion of that, say it's a couple 100 million people,
incredible
is the U.S. population.
Yes, if they all just buy one thing.
Yeah. And so, it's growing. It's not there yet. I think the whole world is going to care in a few years about India. They're still on the China boat.
Yes.
But it's absolutely the future.
Kind of getting off the China boat.
Totally. So it's in this transition period. And so for me, my focus is grow and scale in the U.S., get to a certain revenue target, and then boom, the real opportunity for a massive, when you talk a 10X, global.
It's global, for sure. I completely agree. I'm excited. Are you going to go to India soon? Can I come with you?
I just went, and what I'm trying to do is quarterly visits, and just to, because it is my biggest dream to launch there. I can't wait. So I'm going in March in a couple months. Yeah.
I feel like you need to do a trip. I want to go. Maybe not in March. But
yeah, it's soon. When we launch there.
Oh, definitely be with bells on.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm brown.
See, this is why I need to have a wedding so you can come in your cute sari.
Oh, yes. Outfit me up. I'll be jeweled up. I'm ready.
Find me a man and you'll be invited anyways, but still. Because Indian people have, our weddings are 1,000 people.
I could find you a man. Don't tip me.
Okay, great. I'm in.
But you got to be ready for him.
I do, don't I? Yeah, it is funny because Indian weddings are 1,000 people. And so if you're not one of the 1,000 people at my wedding, you should be offended.
So I was thinking about eloping.
Yeah.
Because I'm just it's so much work. It's so much pressure.
I'm into it.
We can't just wake up and get married.
I'm so glad my sister married the Indian doctor from the same town in India. And she had literally 900 and something people, 2 kids. So yeah, I'm here for the eloping. I just want to be so in love that it's not about anything else besides that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I don't know. I asked my mom. I said, Mom, can I elope? Are you going to be upset? She's like, well, can I come? I was like, yeah. You can come to the elopement. But she doesn't really make it an elopement.
No, I think it counts. I think at least if it's your mom and it's that immediate, then it still feels like you're not making it about everything else. And I think this is so unhealthy, but in my brain I would be thinking about, okay, well, who's going to cover the wedding and all the footage I get for the content. And it's I don't want to care about that shit when it's my wedding.
Right. It's either one or the other. For me, it's either elope and I'll just pop up. or do the fucking most.
Yeah.
And if we do the most, it's like
Vogue is covering this wedding.
Yeah, and it's a Blavity wedding.
Oh yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like it's a BlavityWeddings.com. Like it's a thing.
It's a whole reality show on Blavity, a whole series.
Yeah, like there's no in between.
Yeah,
you know, because to me, we have already chosen to kind of live our lives publicly. Like, and Josh and I decided we were going to live our lives publicly because we're so happy and we feel so grateful that we met each other. Billions and billions. We met at a bar.
I know.
You know?
Honestly, it's the dream way to meet somebody because it's so real and natural.
It's crazy that it happened.
That's so beautiful. You give me hope, girl.
Yeah. So I'm like, the world deserves a Black love wedding. Like, that's so fun. But if I did that, I would completely outsource it. And I would be like, I only care about these 3 things. And I don't want to see the lighting. I don't want to approve the florals. I don't want to approve anything.
Wow.
I don't want it.
But you would hire the person you just know would have good taste to do all those things.
I'd just be like, show me the mood board.
Right.
And then, like, and everybody else go.
So that way it's about you and him.
Yeah. But one of the two. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
I got a couple steps before there. But yeah, no, it's so exciting.
Yeah, life feels good. I feel the most confident I ever have literally in my entire life with myself, who I am. I feel confident with who I am. I feel confident in my role in the business. For a long period of time, I kept trying to hire people thinking I couldn't do it. I was like, should I even be the CEO? Should I just be the face? And I love doing it. It is hard as shit, but I love it.
I'm so happy for you. Thanks for listening to the Journey podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review and head to our Instagram and YouTube to leave a comment. I look forward to hearing how this podcast has made an impact on your own journey.